Om Maya Sadgurave Namaha. Hari Om. Uma Sahayam Parameshwaram Prabhum Vilochanam Neelakantham Prashantam Dhyatva Munirgacchati Bhutayonim Samasta Sakshim Tamasaf Parastat. भगवान की पूरा रूप ही मेडिटेशन है. The entire form of the Lord is meditation alone. And suppose तुम रक्षक काहू के डरना. कांचन वर्ण कुंचित केश. Everything is Bhagwan's. And what about came out at the time of churning? The poison is nothing but our desire, our anger, our hatred, our jealousy. It remains in a holding position. Bhagavan never get poisoned by the poison. भगवान विष पान करके भी विषाक्त नहीं होता. Now, Umasahaya means the mind with full of Shraddha. The thing is, one who doesn't have faith in Guru, he or she can't be happy by his dream also. In Ramcharit Manas, Balkanda, it is there after Doha 112. जिन्ह हरे कथा सुने नहीं काना श्रवण रंध अभिभवन समाना नयन ही संत दर्शन ही देखा लोचन मोर पंख कर लेखा ते सिर कटु तुम बरि समतूला जेन नमत हरि गुर पद मूला जिन्ह हरि भगति हृदय नहीं आनी जीवत सब समान ते प्राणी जो नहीं करई राम गुण गाना जिह सोदादुर जिह समाना कुलिस कठोर निठूर सोई छाती सुनी हरि चरित न जो हर्षाति. The ears who don't listen to the Bhagavan's name and who doesn't get rejoiced by listening Hari Katha, Bhagavan's name, that ears is not ears. They are deaf like the snake. The eyes who don't want to do, want to meet, want to visit Santa, Mahatma, saintly person. What is the value of that eyes? गुरुरंघ्रि पद में मनश्चेन्न लग्नम ततः किम ततः किम ततः किम ततः किम. Whoever else you are, maybe you are in a big position, big post, or you have acquired a lot of degrees, but if you are not totally faithful to your guru, to your teacher, if you don't love and respect your teacher, what's the use of that life? संत दर्शन करने का जो इच्छा मन में होता है, जिस साधु को एक बार देखो, वो आंख आंख ही नहीं. The head which is not get nodded in front of the teacher, what is the value of that character? जो मस्तक अपने गुरु के सामने नमन नहीं करते, नीचू नहीं होता है, क्या लाभ है? जिसके अंदर में हरि भक्ति नहीं है, where there is no love and devotion for the guru in the heart, that person is more than the dead while living. Becomes, they are the very hard person. It is told. Yesterday we were discussing that with the two eyes we only see the plurality of the whole world. And third eye is the eye of knowledge, by which we can see the consciousness in all around. Through that eyes, we get the realization of homogeneousness. Already I have given two definitions of Bhagavan. Bhaga means the power and all those things. Another, Utpattincha, Vipattincha, Vinashamcha. Another thing, Bhagavan means who has extreme tolerance and extreme acceptance. He is Bhagavan. Just read our Bhagavatam, Ramayana, Mahabharata. Whoever took the shelter, just told, I am sorry, please accept me. भगवान उसी को तुरंत क्षमा कर दिया. वो भगवान के लिए संभव है. जब हम लोग मेडिटेशन करने बैठते हैं, when we sit for the meditation, all our papa vasana, sinful tendencies, sinful desires, ego comes out. जो लोग इनको छोड़ते नहीं, they go into the deeper darkness. But who will take it, accept it? Bhagavan only. Bhagavan means extreme level of acceptance जिनके पास है. That burning poison only Shiva can hold. Blue neck means ever compassionate. Blue, Bhagavan Sri Krishna ki sharir ki rang. The color of the body of Bhagavan Krishna is blue. So blue means ever compassion, ever protecting, who always protects us from the poison. Bhagavan Shiva represents the perfect meditator. A beautiful woman called Ganga is on his head. Another beautiful woman is in the left side, his wife. Yet he is the destroyer of the lust in the midst of pairs of opposite. Have you noticed? There is beautiful moon and poison in the neck. Ferocious snake. Ever lazy bull. But he is Sarvabhuta Hiterata. In Ishavashyam, what we saw? Idam sarvam yat kinchit yagatyam jagat. Uma means motherly goodness and love. When Uma means the Lord is functioning in total Maya Shakti. If there is Uma Sahaya, nobody can abandon me. No attachment, no ego, completely pure sattva, pure intellect. Actually, the substratum, everything, see, Uma and Bhagavan. Bhagavan means the substratum of the whole world. Self, the pure consciousness, not only illumines through the vehicles, the world as perceived by us in our present state of consciousness, but also has a vision of its own which can be experienced by us only when we transcend the vehicles. Lord Shiva is thus pictured as having not only the fleshy eye of mortal, but also a third eye on his forehead. the eye of intuition, on vision of pure knowledge. It is described in Shiva Purana that in his ecstasy and joy, dancing in his meditation seat, when he opens his third eye, the entire world of plurality, the entire world of names and forms around him gets burnt. This is one of the incomparable mystic pictures that signifies the mighty one who, on waking up to God consciousness, transcending the limited vision of the world of names and forms, and comes to live the universal oneness. Each and everything you can do meditation. I told you the blue-necked Neelakanta. In the glorious story of Lord Shiva, I told you, or you know, how the churning happened at the time of Milky Ocean churning with the mountain Mandar hill as the churning rod, and the cell volunteered Vasuki, one of the Pharaoh's 8 serpent kings, as the churning rope, pulled forward and backward by the mighty teams of the gods and demons. The churning went on. Very many wonders and glorious things emerged from the ocean. But the first thing came out, the poison. But a lot of acharyas told, in Vyakhyan, that in that churning, the snake Vasuki actually vomited the poison because he was very frightened by the calamity and all those things, or tired. So Lord Shiva, the Lord of protection, he came and received the following lava of poison in his palm, but it was so terrible that it could neither be thrown up nor poured down because it would destroy everything. It was so terribly poisoned. Naturally, the Lord of compassion, to protect us, he drank. But Uma Sahaya, Mother Uma, just to hold the neck, is the devotee. Because he saw the desperate act. So for concert, he pressed his throat, not allowing the poison to go down. Thus it got held up in neck, turning its color to blue. The story as it stands looks as fantastic as it is crude, but when the symbolism is understood, one will appreciate the great wisdom of the rishis in packing an entire philosophy in this unforgettable piece of literature. Subjectively, in each of us, when the churning is done in our purified mind, sattvic mind, the milky ocean, with the intellect. Mandara hills represents, the churning rod represents our intellect that supports the mind, and the rope of ego means the serpent king Vasuki. Why the lower means asuras and the higher devatas, the gods and goddesses. In us, meditation starts. In the early stages of this meditation, means this churning process, many tempting thing comes, and among that siddhi also, because if you ever study Patanjali Yoga Sutra, there Vibhuti Pada is there, and there you will find that when a meditator starts meditation, a lot of siddhis come. It can come to you also. So many tempting siddhis, tempting profits emerge out, but if the churning is continued, a time will come when just before the experience of immortality or Amritam, the ego, the Vasuki must vomit out its entire subconscious and unconscious poison, unconscious impression, past impression, vasanas. This great poison of ignorance cannot be totally eliminated until the wisdom, the jnanam dawns. This ignorance can only be held in the neck, indicating a poison away from and between the head and heart. So ego and egocentric desires should be or should not be allowed to poison either the head or the heart of the meditator at this moment of meditation. Ego should not poison our head or heart, intellect or mind. It should be whole. Naturally, when the churning continues, the supreme experience is unfolded and the goal is gained. Thus, the cause of agitations and disturbances is one's identification with the matter vehicles. When the Supreme Spirit gets identified with the body, mind, and intellect, there is the expression of the ego. Ego is, and it must necessarily be, always in a state of restlessness and discontentment. When the matter vehicles are transcended, when the Purusha is no more expressing through the Prakriti, the supreme state is experienced, which is and should be always ever peaceful. Prashantam, Prakrishta Rupena Shantam, who is not only calm or serene. If anyone comes in touch of that, they will be calm. When all the symbolic details are reflected upon, the main of reflection, the Muni must needfully reach the source of all the manifested world. That is called Bhuta Yoni, the eternal self. The absolute in its perfection has nothing to achieve in order to complete its happiness. But when it expresses through matter, it looks as if the spirit is struggling through matter for happiness. The great seers of the Upanishads declare that the spirit is only a mere witness of everything. Samasta Sakshi. But Sakshi from the standpoint of Sakshi, when we perceive the whole world, pluralistic world, then the consciousness is Sakshi, witness, because there is something to be witnessed. But from the absolute, the Atma, the self is not the witness. Please mind it. A witness is he who comprehends an incident without himself having any personal interest in it. Only witness. Utastha. No personal interest. Nor does he get himself involved in the incident. In one place. Bhavanti iti bhutani. Whoever is born or has manifested comes under the category of bhuta. Bhavanti iti bhutani. And who is the witness of all? Who? You, the self, is samasta sakshi of all bhuta. Thus, the relationship between the absolute spirit and finite matter has been described by Bhagavan Shankaracharya ji with beautiful analogy. If you can remember the Atma Bodha, number 20th sloka. Wait, let me. Atma Chaitanyamasritya Dehendriyamanodhyaha Swakriyartheshu Vartante Surya Lokam Yatha Janaha. Depending upon the Atma, which is of the nature of consciousness, the body, senses, mind, and intellect emerges themselves in their respective activities, just as the main of, as main work depending upon the light of the sun. That was the verse 20 of Atma Bodha. He compares this relationship within our bosom with that of the sun and the words of activities. When the sun rises, our intellect wakes up and, drawing its nature and nourishment, vitality and strength from the sun gets activized in the world. Each one of us pursues his own activities ordered by his own past indications. If the sun were not there, all activities would cease. But the sun himself is not directly responsible for the what and how of each individual's activity. Similarly, the Atma, the spirit, the self, is the witness of all, and the vehicles of matter draw their capacities and capabilities from the warmth of life. Each one acts according to one's own inclinations and pursue one's own purposes. Beyond all darkness, this inner experience is extremely clear and supremely subjective. There is no doubt in the individual regarding the nature and reality of this experience. Just as a dreamer no more doubts when he once wakes up about the nature and the reality of the waking world. Jage jatha sapana brahmajai in Ramcharitmanas. So too, an egocentric individual, when he comes to the plane of God consciousness, his experience is so all-consuming that there is no doubt left in him as to the reality of his present experience. Complete and total realization is possible. This is the assertion of all seers in Vedanta. Hari Om Tat Sat.